With Valentine's Day around the corner, how about decorating some jam jars with heart-shaped motifs? I've got a little pot here I'm going to fill with sweets, a nightlight holder and a candlestick as well. I'm Julie from Julie Davis Flower Workshops and Flower Start, the online flowering. Stop! I know you may not be into hearts or Valentine's Day, but you could use the same technique to make this pretty little pot with a gift tag label on it. I forgot to say, if you enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'd love it if you shared this video with your friends. For this project, you'll need a craft stamper. I'm using a heart-shaped one here as it's coming up to Valentine's Day, but don't forget hearts make a great decor motif at any time of the year. But I used to watch Blue Peter as a child, and so I know this is sticky back plastic contact paper that has got a decorative detail on the front and then peel off paper at the back, and it sticks on. It doesn't matter what paper you use because you're just going to be using this to transfer your heart shape onto your containers. I've then got a variety of containers I'm going to decorate with. This bottle here has already been painted white, and then I've got a couple of jam jars and I've just made sure that they're big enough to take the heart motif on them. You might need a small piece of kitchen towel or newspaper and washi tape to mask off the areas where you don't want your spray paint to reach. Rather bizarrely, I'm also using an old wooden spoon so I can hold my jars without getting paint on my hands. I'm really pleased with that. Brainwave. And then spray paint of your choice. You can see here I've got Oasis Floral Products spray. As I'm a florist, I've got these spray paints to hand, but any spray paint will work. I know that my craft punch is approximately 11 centimetres by about 11 centimetres. So I just need to measure that out using these grid lines, and then I won't be wasting any of the sticky back plastic. You then need to stamp out your heart shape. And the easiest way I find to do this is to turn your craft punch over so you can see where the heart motif lies, and then add in your paper. Just slide it in. And then you can, and when it's positioned in place, turn your punch other way up because they work best when you press onto a hard surface. Slide off the cover and you've got yourself a heart-shaped motif. And also, if you keep this bit here, you've got a second motif. So you get two for the price of one. Next thing to do is decide where you want your motif to go. You could decide just to leave the sticker on the front and go for a more low-key Valentine's theme. Oh, I've just noticed my kitchen towel's got heart motifs on it as well. Oops, I've made a mistake. I didn't want to put that on there. I wanted to use the template on there, so I'm going to see whether I can peel that off and save it. I wanted this one to go onto my jam jar. I'm going to press from the middle and then go to the outsides. And again, that looks rather great like that, doesn't it? Just a hint of Valentine's Day instead of going the whole hog with everything red. Anyway, back to my white bottle. So make a start and peel off the backing. Position that where you want it to go. So I want my heart to be quite high up. And then gently pull back the paper. Move down. You want to make sure it's really securely fastened at the edges, but it doesn't quite matter whether it's on smoothly everywhere else. Just going to gather that around. And the reason I've got my kitchen towel is because I need to cover around the rest of the bottle. I'm going to spray paint, and I don't want to get any of the paint on the rest of the bottle. So I'll hold that in place with some washi tape or masking tape. And I'm just going to take this outside now and spray paint. I've moved outside now, so I've got plenty of fresh air. You should never use these spray paints in a confined space. So I've got my white bottle here all wrapped up. I'm going to spray a red heart onto here, and then I've got the little motif on the glass jar. I'm going to spray white on there so the heart will eventually be clear. This is the noisy bit. I like to spray into a box. It just sort of confines the spray a little bit, just so you can get a feel for how quickly the paint comes out. And you're better off doing light coats rather than one big coat, because you may end up with a blotchy mess. And when you're happy with the coverage, leave that to dry. You can see when I did my spraying before, I've now got paint on my hands, so I need to wash off, make sure it's all really well stuck down. I'm going to use my wooden spoon here to hold the pot so that hopefully I won't get messy this time. Now it's time for the big reveal. I put another coat of paint on my white jar and I've left it to dry for a couple of hours. So I'll carefully peel off the tape, sticky back plastic, and hopefully we'll have a heart with a really precisely defined line. And I guess if I'm really careful with my template, I could use that again. And then onto the little white bottle where I wanted to get a red heart on, so I shall take away the kitchen roll that was masking off the rest of the bottle. Hope I haven't got any red paint anywhere. And then peel off the template here. Looks like I'm not going to be saving this one. It has bled slightly, but I reckon because the white paint here in the bottle is on the inside, I'll just be able to scrape that away with a knife. For first go, they're pretty good. And the next clip is all about how to make this pretty little pot using exactly the same technique, but here I've used a luggage label craft punch and painted it with chalkboard paint. I'm rather pleased with the coverage of this spray chalk paint. It's sort of a khaki green kind of colour, and what I'm going to do here is put my luggage tag label on. I'm going to do that using chalk paint so I can write a message. And before I add on the paint, just making sure I really smooth down all the edges so nothing bleeds underneath and I'll end up with a nice crisp shape. I'm going to use blackboard paint so I can, number one, is all I had to hand, and number two, so I can chalk a message onto the label. I'm going to dab a bit out onto this plate and then use this sponge roller to dab the paint on. I need to stir the paint first. It's best to build up in layers, so I'm getting rid of the excess paint onto the saucer and then dabbing across. My chalkboard paint is now dry, and now for the moment of truth. So I shall start peeling away the backing paper. I think that looks pretty good. Should we see whether the chalk works? Can't actually get away from my hearts. I was really pleased with the way my containers worked out. I think my top tip will be to make sure you really let the paint dry before you peel off your template, and make sure you really have a crisp edge around the template before you start your paintwork.